If the title for this video wasn't enough of a giveaway, this is a macro photography review of the Laowa 100mm f2.8 2x macro lens by Venus Optics. I've had this lens for close to a year now, and I have to say it is the best macro lens that I have ever owned. Why? Well, let's find out. Now, I've used a lot of different things to get that extra magnification for my macro photography, such as using extension tubes, using a reverse lens, as well as using lens adapters. And to be honest, they're all cumbersome, tricky to work with, and didn't really give me the results that I was after. But with this lens, I've found that it's not really that difficult to take great images, which is a nice change in the world of macro photography. Now, all these macro lenses can give you a full 1:1 magnification, but what separates the 100mm from these other lenses is that it gives you twice the magnification, which means that objects are reproduced at double the life size on the camera's sensor. This means that you can capture those intricate close-up details in your images, but magnified. This is what a 2:1 macro lens can give you. Now, here it is on a crop sensor camera with even more magnification. I am using the Nikon F-mount version of this lens, so I'm using it with the Nikon FTZ adapter attached to a Nikon Z6. As this is a completely manual lens, I've found that it really works best with mirrorless cameras, mostly because of focus peaking. And I have to say that focus peaking is the greatest technology that's ever been built for macro photography. It's great when you're shooting millimeters away from your subject to know exactly what is in or out of focus. The lens has no stabilization, but as I'm using a mirrorless camera with in-body stabilization, it allows me to shoot photos handheld with no worries. Now here's some gratuitous close-ups if that's your thing. Also pads out the video a little bit. Whoa, look at that. Whew. The build quality is great, it feels quite solid, but unfortunately it isn't weather sealed. The lens also comes with its own UV filter, which is 67mm, that protects it from the gaping abyss that is inside this lens. The lens barrel also doesn't extend as you twist the focus ring, but looking inside you'll see the focused elements moving about, which is pretty cool, I suppose. The lens is 120mm long, which I find is a great length, allowing you more distance between yourself, the camera and your subject. Very helpful. The lens feels hefty at 638 grams, but not too heavy where it's exhausting or bulky to hold for hours on end, and it fits quite well on the Z6. The Nikon version of this lens has no camera-controlled aperture, meaning that to change your aperture you'll need to do it on the lens itself. It has an ample clicking noise when you're doing so though, so be aware if you're shooting video. For focusing, there's focus distance markings in feet and meters, as well as the magnification factor. To be at the full 2:1 magnification, there is a working distance of about 7 centimeters or 2.5 inches. For the image quality, look, it's fantastic. Sharpness is tremendous right across the image from corner to corner, even when shooting wide open at f2.8. Sharpness at f16 to f22 is very important for macro lenses and macro shooting, and the 100mm is no exception, with image sharpness great at f16 and a little bit lower at f22. But even at f22, sharpness still remains excellent, with the lens capturing all those intricate details that you would want. Now, not every lens can be perfect, and this one is no different. The lens unfortunately doesn't record any XF data, meaning no aperture data is saved. Shutter speed and ISO settings are still recorded though. Not a big deal, and to be honest, this is the only real big issue I have with it. Keep in mind I am using the Nikon F-mount version though. Another thing is that when focusing to get that 2x magnification, you will lose a couple of stops of light. A trade-off, I suppose, in order to get to this level of magnification. I'm sure many of you that enjoy macro photography can appreciate the ability to disappear, so to speak, into another world. In crazy times like this year has been, having tools that allow you to escape, such as the Laowa 100mm, are, at the moment, worth their weight in gold. I have to admit that I really love this lens. It's just fun to use and kind of addictive. It's nice to use something that just works and gives you a fantastic result the second you put it on the camera. If you're interested in this lens, I would highly recommend using it with a mirrorless camera, just for focus peaking and the in-body stabilization alone. It's easy to get the hang of, but can take a little bit of work to master the 2x magnification. It is a niche product, but if you're really interested in macro photography and want to take your images to that next level, then this lens is for you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Would you like to watch some more? Well, here is a review of the best macro lens for micro four thirds cameras, the fantastic Olympus 60mm. Cheers!